Hi students, welcome to All4 e-learning chemistry classes for second year. The running chapter is organic chemistry and now we are in session number 18. In previous session we discussed about the halogenation of alkanes, that is nothing but chlorination and bromination, and there for different alkanes the total halogenated products sometimes are monohalogenated products or dihalogenated products. How many products are possible? What is the best reagent to produce only monohalogenation in allylic and benzylic compounds? In all these we discussed in previous session, and there we have to find the relative amounts of chlorinated products and brominated products. The relative amounts means it is nothing but when an alkane is having different types of hydrogens, towards the type of hydrogens the reactivity of chlorine and bromine is not same. In such a cases the products can be imagined by using reactivity selectivity principle, and we have to discuss in this session about that reactivity selectivity principle. First let me explain what is reactivity selectivity. And this reactivity selectivity principle, as per this principle, reactivity selectivity principle, more the reactivity less the selectivity, just you observe. And in case if any reagent is having less reactivity, its selectivity is more. And now the question is, okay, reactivity is more or less, we will know, because already we know the reactivity of halogens is fluorine is more reactive than chlorine, is more reactive than bromine, is more reactive than iodine. So now when we are studying the reactivity selectivity principle, we are considering only chlorination and bromination, because it is very aggressive in reaction. Even in dark it can react, and it is of very slow in reaction, and it is establishing an equilibrium. Clear? That's why the optimum condition is for chlorine and bromine. And selectivity, here what is this selectivity? Just you observe. In case of methane, no selectivity. In case of ethane, no selectivity. Just you observe. Why? Why there is no selectivity? It is nothing but in methane all the 4 hydrogens are same, and in ethane all the 6 hydrogens are also same. But if it is propane, just you observe, in this propane you can observe the hydrogens are of 2 categories. One is nothing but primary hydrogen and the other one is secondary hydrogen. That is, simply we can say the hydrogens which are present on primary carbon and the hydrogens which are present on secondary carbon. Clear? And in case of N-butane, here also we can find only primary and secondary hydrogens, because the terminal carbons are primary carbons and the hydrogens present on the terminal carbons are primary hydrogens, and these are secondary carbons. But sometimes if it is of present like this, CH3, CH, CH3, CH3, here there is no secondary carbon. Here directly it is tertiary carbon. So here the hydrogens are primary and tertiary hydrogen. And in case if we are considering isopentane like this, just you observe, this is the best example to explain this reactivity selectivity principle. Why so? Because in this compound these are primary hydrogens because they are present on primary carbon, and these are secondary hydrogens, and here one hydrogen is tertiary hydrogen because it is present in tertiary carbon. Is it not? And now the selectivity is towards that primary, secondary and tertiary hydrogens to replace. These chlorine and bromine, these two are, when they are going for free radical substitution, they tend to replace that primary or secondary or tertiary hydrogens present in the compound. In case if only primary secondary, then we have to consider which of these two which is preferable. In case if the compound has all these three, which is preferable? In these two cases, we need not go for the reactivity selectivity principle because all the hydrogens are same. Are you following? And now let us consider with this example, just you remember, in all these compounds, that is propane, butane and tertiary butane, in all these three compounds different kinds of hydrogens present, primary, secondary or primary, tertiary, but I am taking the best example as isopentane because it is having all the three types of hydrogens. Clear? And now if it is the compound CH3, CH, CH3 and CH2, CH3, here primary hydrogens are 9, but these primary hydrogens 9, all these are not same. Because this carbon is connected to secondary carbon and these two carbons are connected to tertiary carbon. Even though these are primary carbons, but their connecting carbon is tertiary. Here it is primary carbon connected to secondary. That's why we can consider these hydrogens again 6 one type and 3 one type of hydrogens. Okay, and then secondary hydrogens, and these secondary hydrogens here they are present on secondary carbon. They are 2 in number. 2 secondary hydrogens and only one tertiary hydrogen is there. One hydrogen is tertiary. Now when we are observing the reactivity towards these primary or secondary or tertiary hydrogens, more the reactivity, less the selectivity of these. And now just you observe, for any element, for any, that is for a halogen, the order of preference to attack is nothing but tertiary hydrogen more preferable than secondary hydrogen more preferable than primary hydrogen. So that means the halogens are selectively going to tertiary towards, but how far it is interested towards tertiary. For that purpose we are using this reactivity selectivity. Just you observe, in case of chlorine and bromine, these two are having reactivity order as chlorine is more reactive than bromine. Clear? And now when it is more reactive, its selectivity among these three, that is towards to primary or secondary or tertiary, is very less when compared to bromine. Why? Because bromine is less reactive and thereby it will go more selectively. Let me give that that is nothing, probability factor. It will indicate the this priority, that is the selectivity. Here in case of primary hydrogen, secondary hydrogen and tertiary hydrogen, if we observe the selectivity of chlorine, that is the probability factor of chlorine and bromine, if we compare, if chlorine reactivity towards primary hydrogen is 1, then its reactivity towards secondary hydrogen is just 3.8 times, and towards this tertiary hydrogen it is just 5 times. Are you following? And now that means here among these three it is unable to select. The selectivity of chlorine towards this primary, secondary, tertiary is very less. How we can say? It is nothing but because in case if we are observing bromine, it is towards primary, if it is 1 time interested, probability factor is 1. Towards secondary it is 81 times more preferable. Probability is enormously it is increased. And now coming to tertiary, it is 1600 times more preferable even. So with this one we can observe that bromine is of highly selective towards tertiary and secondary when compared to chlorine. Chlorine selectivity is less, it is of having only 1, 3.8 and 5 ratio. Clear? And now with this information we have to find the relative amounts of chlorinated products possible when that chlorine is replacing this hydrogen or this hydrogen or this or this. For different hydrogens, when it is replacing the chlorine, what is the relative amount, that is the percentage of different chlorinated products possibility. For that purpose we have to go for this like this. It is primary hydrogen, and these primary hydrogens, 6 hydrogens one type and 3 hydrogens one type. Secondary hydrogens, it is only 2 hydrogens are present, and tertiary hydrogens only 1 hydrogen is present. Just here the relative amount we can measure as, for chlorine probability factor is for primary being 1 and for secondary it is 3.8 and for tertiary it is 5. Is it not? And now the relative amount we can measure as the number of relative amount. It is relative amount. Here it is number of hydrogens into probability factor. With this one you can measure the relative amount. First here let us consider 6 hydrogens are present, into 1 is the probability factor, it is relative amount is 6, and here 3 into 1 3, and here 2 hydrogens into probability factor is 3.8, it is 7.6, and here it is 1 and probability factor is 5, total it is 5. Now if the sum of all these we consider, it is nothing but 0.6 and 12, 15, 21.6 relative amount total, the sum of the total product if we consider. Then let us go for this probability, that is relative amount of this type. Let us take, it is A and it is B and it is C and it is D. And now A product, that is when chlorine is replacing these hydrogens, the probability, that is the relative amount, is nothing but its relative amount percentage, relative percentage is nothing but its relative amount in by 21.3 into 100 percentage, then you will get percentage. And for B, its relative amount is 3 by total amount 21.3 into 100, you will get this percentage. And C, the relative amount of secondary, it is 7.6 by 21.3 into 100, and in case of D it is 5 by 21.3 into 100 percentages you will get. Like that, here first you have to find the relative amounts, and then to get the percentage of that amounts you have to go like this. I think already in most of the campuses they might learn all these calculations. If not, just now try to learn it, because it is of having much importance for competitive examination. Clear? And now in case here instead of chlorine, if the compound is given like this, and instead of chlorine if bromine is given, then simply the major product is always this one. They will ask such question, which of the following is the major contributor? Simply this will be, because when we are considering this, even though they are 9 in number, 9 into 1 factor, it is 9 only, and here 2 secondary hydrogens, so 2 into 81, that is 162 only, and only 1 tertiary hydrogen, but it is of 1600 times more interested, 1600. So now the sum is nothing but 1771. So automatically this will be 1600 by 1771 into 100, very high percentage, more than 90%. That's why when bromine is given, you have to verify is there any tertiary hydrogen is present or not. If any tertiary hydrogen present, immediately directly you can go for tertiary hydrogen replaced by bromine. That is the major product. Clear? That is about this halogenation of alkanes in the preparation of alkyl halides. And now we have to move to the next preparation method, that is nothing but from alkenes. from alkenes. Simply here, first let us discuss about the mechanism what is present in this alkene in the conversion of in the conversion of alkene into alkyl halide. Just it is nothing but this one, and here the reagent which is used to convert is nothing but HX. Here you know HX is nothing but, it may be HX is nothing but, X is fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine. But you remember fluorine we are not using, that is HX is not, HF is not used for its preparation because it is of having somewhat some other byproduct formation because of aggressive reactivity. Now we are considering only HCl, HBr and HI. As we know, HCl directly we can consider, it is present, and thereby when these HX is reacting with this alkene, the reaction is nothing but electrophilic addition reaction. This is the mechanism. It is nothing but when these species, that is HX, let us consider, you have to remember HX we never considered HF, only HCl, HBr, HI. Clear? So HX represent these three only. Now let me consider, or let me write the mechanism related to electrophilic addition. This is alkene, and this HX split into H plus X minus. As we know, this is electrophile. It will go to one of the double bonded carbon. So immediately what we are getting is carbon with positive charge, and here it is of having hydrogen. That is carbocation is the reaction intermediate. Just remember, carbocation is the reaction intermediate. Clear? And now in next step, this carbocation is attacked by the remaining part of the reagent, that is nothing but nucleophile. That X minus will come to this, and thereby now we are having the addition product like this. Just electrophilic addition, the reaction intermediate is carbocation, and in that carbocation, after forming the carbocation, just it is nothing but the step 1 is rate determining step, because it is slow step. It is slow step. Why? How to identify the slow step? Just nothing but, if you observe in both these two steps, in the first step when it is approaching towards this, then the bond has to be cleaved, that is the bond dissociation takes place in this step. But in the second step, just you observe, when it attacks, it is forming the bond, there is no dissociation of the bond. So as we know, bond dissociation requires energy, and when energy is required, the reaction will become slow. That's why here the slow reaction, and in this slow reaction or rate determining step, electrophile is attacking. And just you remember students, most of the some people are saying that in the first step electrophile attack, that's why it is electrophilic addition. But don't imagine like that. It is not the correct statement. Just you remember, even nucleophile may attack first, but it may not be nucleophilic addition. Here, which is attacking first is not criteria. Just you remember, the species or the reagent which is attacking on the substrate in rate determining step, that is the criteria. That rate determining step may be first step or second step. In case if here first step is the rate determining step, and in this rate determining step we are observing that H plus is attacking on this, and H plus is nothing but electrophile. That's why it is electrophilic addition. Just you remember, in electrophilic or nucleophilic addition, both these two will be added, but one after the other. And in one after the other, first attack, first name, it is not like that. Just the species which is of attacking or which is added to the substrate in rate determining step, depending on that, we have to consider it is electrophilic addition or nucleophilic addition. Clear? Here it is electrophilic addition. Like this, we are getting the product, that is alkane with hallucination, that is nothing but alkyl halide. Clear? And in this one, when it is electrophilic addition, so many factors or so many concepts are there which are of attracting the competitive exam interest. And let me explain. In electrophilic additions, it is mostly with the alkenes. Electrophilic addition, the characteristic reaction of alkene. In this case, if the compound is like this, alkene is like this, just you observe, when it is of added with HX, it is forming CH3 CH2X. Or in case if it is CH3 CH double bond CH CH3, here also when HX added, it is of creating CH3 CH2 CHX CH3 like this. But if the alkene is like this, in this case, when HX is added to this, just you observe here, in these two cases, these two double bonded carbons are same. This type of alkenes are known as symmetric alkenes. They are symmetric alkenes. And thereby hydrogen going to one carbon and a halogen is going to other carbon, that makes no difference. But here, unlike that of these two cases, here the double bonded carbons are two kinds. Here carbon with more hydrogens, here carbon is with less hydrogens. This type of alkene, when there is difference in the double bonded carbons, are known as asymmetric alkene. Asymmetric. Clear? And now in this asymmetric alkene, just remember, when asymmetric reagent is added, why we are pronouncing this as asymmetric reagent? Just now let us consider, if it is CH3 CH double bond CH2 is added with X2, that is halogenation. One halogen will go to one carbon, the other halogen atom will go to the other carbon. It is forming the compound like this, CHX CH2X. Here also we can find only one type of product. But when an asymmetric, this type of reagent where both these two added species are same, that type of reagent is known as symmetric reagent. The two parts of the reagent are same. In such a case, the reagent is said to be symmetric. Clear? So in case of symmetric alkene, even though the reagent is asymmetric, only one products are possible. In case of asymmetric alkene, when the reagent is symmetric, that means either reagent or substrate. When symmetric, we can expect only one type of product. Are you following? But in this case, just you observe, here it is asymmetric alkene and the reagent is also asymmetric. Then here there are two possible products. That is nothing but hydrogen may go to this, it is A. Then when hydrogen is going to this, automatically X has to go to this, is it not? Or if hydrogen is going to this, it is the B path. Now let me write these two. A product is nothing but CH3 CHX CH3. When hydrogen goes to this, X is coming to this. And B product, that is when hydrogen is going to this, the product is CH3 CH2 CH2X. That means when an asymmetric alkene is added with an asymmetric reagent, there is scope of formation of more than one product. It may not be only two. Sometimes there is some sort of rearrangement may be there, because as we know, electrophilic addition reaction is of having or involving reaction intermediate carbocation. Once there is carbocation, immediately we have to imagine that if there is any scope for the rearrangement of the carbocation to upgrade the stability from primary, that is 1 degree to 2 degree, 2 degree to 3 degree, we are allowing the rearrangement. Already we discussed in the series, in this video class also, in previous video classes I explained that mechanism, rearrangement mechanisms. And it may be not only electrophilic addition, it may be in SN reaction, SN1 or elimination. Even in all those cases, whenever, not only, it is irrespective of the reaction mechanism, which type of mechanism is taking place, irrespective of that, just you have to remember, once the carbocation is formed, you have to immediately observe, is there any scope to upgrade the stability of that carbocation by making a rearrangement from primary to secondary, secondary to tertiary, or primary to tertiary. Just you remember, as we know, tertiary carbocation is more stable than secondary, and it is more, tertiary is more stable than secondary, secondary is more stable than primary. That's why rearrangement should be done so as to upgrade primary to secondary, secondary to tertiary. Reverse is not happening. Clear? And in such a case, the rearrangement should be one time, and that too 1:2 shift of H minus or CH3 minus. Clear? And now in this case there is only one type of carbocation, there is no, that is nothing but secondary carbocation is formed, and hence this is. And now in these two products, which is the major product? In case of symmetric alkene or in case of symmetric reagent is used, then there is no question of any that is which is major, which is minor, because only one products are formed. But in case of asymmetric alkene, when reacted with asymmetric reagent, asymmetric alkene reacting with asymmetric reagent, two or more products are possible. In such a case, the major product, which is major product, we have to find out. In such finding, we have to follow Markovnikov's rule. Markovnikov's rule. Just you remember, as per Markovnikov rule, hydrogen of the addendum or positive part of the addendum always goes to more hydrogenated double bonded carbon. That is one statement. Or otherwise, the another statement, I am not going to explain all these Markovnikov rule, just I am making you to recall, only to recollect. If you are not aware of that Markovnikov rule from your junior inter, again you go through that notes. Clear? And here, as per Markovnikov rule, in the reaction, if the addendum is having hydrogen or any positive part, one is positive part is nothing but electrophile. That positive part of the addendum always goes to more hydrogenated double bonded carbon. Or another statement is nothing but in electrophilic addition reaction mechanism, the reaction always follows or will always give the major product in such a direction where the stable carbocation is formed. Here, for this purpose, let me explain the two possibilities, thereby you can easily guess what is happening. In case, in the first in A formation, here I am writing directly, in the formation of A product, hydrogen is going to more hydrogenated double bonded carbon, and thereby what we are getting is CH3, CH2 plus CH plus CH3. It is secondary carbocation. And in case if hydrogen is going to this carbon, and in such a case hydrogen, here again it is another possibility, if it is going to this, it is forming the reaction intermediate carbocation like this, CH2 plus. Now you observe, it is nothing but primary and it is secondary. Of these two, which is stable? Secondary is more stable. As per Markovnikov rule, this is the statement given. In case of asymmetric alkene added with asymmetric reagent following electrophilic addition reaction, the reaction always involves the formation of more stable carbocation as the major product. So when it is secondary, X when added to this, it is giving this, and this product is known as Markovnikov product. And now it is of happening against to this, then this product is known as anti-Markovnikov product. Markovnikov's and anti-Markovnikov's products. Are you following? And now let me give one more example. But you remember, dear students, Markovnikov or anti-Markovnikov rule, we have to think only when the substrate is an asymmetric alkene and the reagent is also asymmetric. Say for example, if it is symmetric like this and it is asymmetric, there is no scope. Or if it is symmetric and the reagent is also symmetric, no scope. And it is asymmetric but the reagent is symmetric, no scope. In all these cases, there is no scope of Markovnikov, anti-Markovnikov. But when it is like this, it is asymmetric and the reagent is also asymmetric. In such a case, you have to imagine Markovnikov rule. Clear? And now, let me explain one best example where we can go for even rearranged Markovnikov. This is nothing but this type: CH, CH3, CH double bond CH2. When it is added with HX, just you observe. Here, what we can expect? First, let us consider the first step. Hydrogen may go to this, that is A. Hydrogen may go to this. Or now let us consider this is A and this is B. First, let me write the A product. It is CH3, CH, CH3 and CH2, CH2 plus. It is primary carbocation. And in B, it is forming. In B process, it is forming CH3, CH, CH3, CH plus CH3. In this case, it is secondary carbocation, but immediately after the secondary there is tertiary carbon, and thereby we can imagine a migration of this H from this to this so as to create, that is nothing but here rearrangement takes place, and because of that rearrangement the secondary carbocation now turn to tertiary carbocation like this. Are you following? And now here when the remaining part X minus is added to this, it will give CH3, CH, CH3, CH2, CH2X. This is known as anti-Markovnikov product. Already it is given to you. When the product is formed against Markovnikov rule, it is anti-Markovnikov product. And here if X minus is added to this, it is giving Markovnikov product like this: CHX, CH3. And now in this case, if X minus is added to this, it is giving the product which is known as rearranged Markovnikov product. It is nothing but rearranged Markovnikov product. This is Markovnikov product and it is rearranged Markovnikov product. I think with this example you can understand what is anti-Markovnikov product. It is nothing but when hydrogen is going to less hydrogenated double bonded carbon, then automatically the product will lead to anti-Markovnikov product. And in case if hydrogen is going to more hydrogenated double bonded carbon, then it is Markovnikov. That is happening in this case. But after that addition of electrophile, if the reaction intermediate, that is nothing but the carbocation, is getting any rearrangement, then the final product is known as Markovnikov, rearranged Markovnikov product. Like that it will happen. And dear students, you remember this is happened only in case of electrophilic addition. Electrophilic addition mechanism when takes place between asymmetric alkene and asymmetric reagent, then only you can expect Markovnikov major. Electrophilic addition, when electrophilic addition is taking place, then only you can expect Markovnikov product the major. Clear? And now in case, may rub this now, after going, in case if you are not noting it, just you have to revise your video. again to write that. And now let me go one more concept. Say for example, in case of CH3 CH double bond CH2 asymmetric alkene, you know, and this is reacting with HBr. It is of special reagent, and this HBr in normal condition we can expect two products. One is CH3 CHBr and CH3, and the second one is CH3 CH2 CH2Br. It is Markovnikov product, Markovnikov's, and it is the major product, and it is anti-Markovnikov. When it is anti-Markovnikov, it is minor product. Just you remember, both will form, but one is major, one is minor. But if the same reaction CH3 CH double bond CH2 when treated with HBr in presence of H2O2, that is nothing but a peroxide. Just you remember, in presence of H2O2, addition of HBr gives the same products, that is nothing but CH3 CHBr and CH3, which is Markovnikov, and CH3 CH2 CH2Br, which is anti-Markovnikov. One is Markovnikov and the other one is anti-Markovnikov. But the difference is, in presence of H2O2, that is nothing but anti-Markovnikov product is the major and Markovnikov product is the minor. That will happen. Just you observe. In the absence of H2O2, major product is Markovnikov when the HBr is reacting with asymmetric alkene, and in presence of H2O2, that is nothing but a peroxide, the anti-Markovnikov product is the major product. Actually, the details in advanced level, the details are there. But for our exam, that is for NEET exam purpose, and even for mains exam also, one statement is sufficient for this. Just you remember, addition when follows electrophilic addition mechanism, this addition, that is asymmetric alkene with asymmetric reagent, will give major product Markovnikov. Clear? But just you observe what changes make this anti-Markovnikov become major. This is nothing but, just you remember, in presence of peroxide, the reaction is following free radical addition mechanism. Reaction follows free radical addition mechanism. Here it is electrophilic addition. That's why I am saying in electrophilic addition mechanism only the major product will be Markovnikov. But here what happens in presence of peroxide? The mechanism is changed, and from electrophilic addition to now it becomes free radical addition. So when the mechanism change, that's why here anti-Markovnikov product is the major product. Are you following? And now this type of changing mechanism in presence of peroxide is known as peroxide effect, or it is also known as Kharasch effect, because he observed Kharasch, SCH, Kharasch effect or peroxide effect. And you remember, this peroxide effect is observed only in case of HBr. In case if you are considering HCl or HI, there is no, this Kharasch or peroxide effect is not working in case of HCl or in case of HI. You remember, in these two cases there is no peroxide effect. That means even in the presence and absence of the peroxide, the major product in these two cases is always Markovnikov product. Are you clear with this one? I think with this one you can understand the remaining part. Just I am giving one example, what is the mechanism, because it is time bound classes thereby, but all the concept has been explained with this example. The total concept you have to observe. I am taking one of the asymmetric alkene. They may provide different asymmetric alkenes. First of all, you should be in a position to identify whether the given alkene is asymmetric or not. Once you identify that it is asymmetric, then you have to go for whether the reagent which is added to that asymmetric alkene is asymmetric or symmetric. In case if there is symmetry in any of these two or both, then there is no question of Markovnikov, anti-Markovnikov. But once you find that both these two are asymmetric, then you have to think about the Markovnikov. And in case of peroxide effect, just you observe that is observed only in case of addition of HBr, and in case of HCl and HI there is no such type of peroxide effect. Are you clear? And in next class we will continue with this preparation of alkyl halide from alcohols. Clear?